Ladies and gentlemen, here we are, the final five, the top five. The top two, of course, write themselves. I've seen you guys commenting multiple times about it in the comment section. I'm sure you all know what's coming. But the other three have swapped places time and time again. Eventually I settled on a mix of importance, franchise impact and scene awesomeness. But as always, I'd love to hear your alternate rankings as we get into the top 5 best dinosaurs in the Jurassic Park franchise. Number 5 on our list then is Dilophosaurus. Dilophosaurus is one of my absolute favourite Jurassic Park dinosaurs, and it's the star in one of the most iconic scenes in Jurassic Park history as it foils Nedry's devious plan and then eats him for fun. I can't imagine that was a great meal, pretty fattening, but dilos aren't that picky. It's an absolutely critical scene in the franchise and easily one of the most atmospheric they've ever made. Rain tumbling from the skies, the scene lit only by moonlight and the glow of the Jeep lights. Nedry's devolution from a cocky, stick-throwing son of a gun to unabashed terror as the Dilophosaurus fans out that brightly coloured crest and spits on him. Rude. If you need confirmation of just how iconic the Jurassic Park Dilophosaurus is, you need only look at 99% of Dilophosauruses in video games since, Primal Carnage for example. A lot of them spit, a lot of them have huge crests. It's so iconic that I suspect if you asked most people on the street what a Dilophosaurus looks like, they would absolutely describe to you the Jurassic Park variant, even if it doesn't really look anything like a real Dilophosaurus. Why is it only 5th then? Well, the Dilophosaurus gets one scene. That's it. There's not much more to say. It's a critical scene that I absolutely adore, but it's just one scene, and for 3 following films, the Dilophosaurus barely gets a mention. We've seen glimpses of a Dilo animatronic for Fallen Kingdom, so hopefully one of Jurassic Park's best dinosaurs will be back in style soon. But until then, it sits in a more than respectable 5th position. Just missing out on a medal and sure to be a disputed choice is the Indominus Rex. Let's address a couple of points for Jurassic World's antagonist. Firstly, why is it 3 points higher than the Spinosaurus when they both suffer the same problem of being more monster than dinosaur? Well, because the Indominus was built to be a monster. Bigger, spookier, more teeth, all that. Some people will never be happy about the addition of hybrids to the franchise, and that's a topic for another day, but I think if you're going to add them, this was the way to do it. The Indominus Rex, unlike the Spinosaurus, is a very real threat throughout the entire film. It's intelligent, it's monstrous, it manages to kill a whole bunch of people we don't really care about, as well as tying into the film's loose themes about turning animals into killing machines designed for war. The design could have been better, but I love the additions of the camouflage that we initially saw in the Lost World novels Carnotaurus, and the way the various DNA additions contribute to both its design and its abilities was intelligently done. Secondly, it's just in cool scenes, that's it. The rampaging through the old visitor centre, smashing into the aviary, escaping the exhibit, and of course that finale battle are all things that would have been less effective with an actual dinosaur as opposed to a hybrid. As well as having some pretty great scenes in a fairly okayish film, it's also a critically important dinosaur for the development of the franchise. Regardless of whether you approve of that direction or not, it's clear that the bombastic nature and of course hybridization of the Indominus is influencing where the franchise goes to next. The Indominus by its very nature will never hold a place in my heart like any real dinosaur could, and I believe the design could certainly have ended in a better place than it did. But it's a fun addition that is critically important to the modern version of Jurassic Park, and for that it deserves a really high spot. But not a medal. Medals are reserved for love. Our first dinosaur in medal range is Brachiosaurus with the bronze, a dinosaur which has essentially the same benefits and detriments as the Dilophosaurus. The Brachiosaurus is the first dinosaur we fully see in the Jurassic Park films after the raptor's brief appearance a little bit earlier. And it's the moment that most of us watching the film as kids knew that we were watching something truly special. It's hard to disentangle nostalgia from a scene like this, I'll admit. But not only is it a beautifully made scene that swells perfectly between the gorgeous soundtrack and Alan Grant's reaction as his world is turned upside down, but it's one of the few moments in the films that dinosaurs are viewed as something more than just something to fear, but as something majestic and beautiful. Even Ian Malcolm is impressed, and Ian Malcolm is never impressed. This is something the 3 following films really only dabbled in briefly, choosing instead to favour the bombast and screams that accompany carnivorous dinosaurs and blockbuster films. But I truly believe the flip side of that, the quiet moments the first film does so well, are just as important. The Brachiosaurus doesn't do much in the other films, though it pops up in a really rather odd looking iteration in the third, but it doesn't really matter. It's one of the greatest scenes in the history of dinosaur films and films in general, and the Brachiosaurus simply could not be put any lower for me. It's no coincidence that one of the very best shots we see in the Fallen Kingdom trailer feature the Brachiosaurus. Here we are then, the top 2. I'm holding off on the screenshots just for a second, as I know people have been debating heavily just which dinosaur would claim silver and which would claim gold. I think I'm going against the grain a little bit based on the comments, but at number 2 we have Tyrannosaurus Rex. I know, the T-Rex is literally the logo of the film. Rexy has survived from the first film right through to Fallen Kingdom so far, and the Rex is basically the last dinosaur you see in 3 of the 4 films that currently exist. Nobody could ever deny the importance of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. She is vital and she is incredible. It's impossible to list every iconic and awesome scene that the T-Rex has appeared in. Whether it's her initial breakout under that dark and stormy night and following chomping down on Aloha, her finale appearance as the Jurassic Park banner tumbles to the ground behind her, or the best scene in The Lost World as poor Eddie gets ripped in half by 2 T-Rexes and they show their general displeasure for RVs. Not only has she been in countless incredible scenes, but she also contributes perhaps the most iconic sound in the entire franchise through her roar. There's not a sound out there that more invokes the Jurassic Park franchise than that. Goosebumps every time. Or goose pimples if you're a bit of a weirdo. The Tyrannosaurus Rex has at times been both the antagonist and protagonist, flipping between the two to fit the situation not just in the franchise in total, but actually just in the first film. They've appeared in baby form, they've appeared in pairs, in saviour form in Jurassic World, and in unadulterated horror form in the Midnight Lost World chase, where we get to see up close the spookiness of a Tyrannosaurus Rex tongue, and that dumb guy freaks out about a snake. I mean, there's a bloody T-Rex outside and you're freaking out about a snake. It's hard to justify either the Rex or our other dinosaur at number 2. It's going to largely come down to personal preference. But it's worth noting that despite feeling as though Rex is prevalent throughout the entire franchise, she was barely in Jurassic Park 3 and only had 2 somewhat brief appearances in Jurassic World, even if the latter was pretty damned awesome. That's about the only mark I can find against the Rex, but it's enough to get her just a silver instead of the gold medal. That instead is reserved for the final dinosaur on our list. Velociraptor. Trust me when I say that the Raptors and the Rex flipped position on this list approximately 3,847 billion times, but eventually, by a claw, the Velociraptor clinched it. The Raptor has everything the Rex has. It has an iconic sound, that rasping, terrifying growl, or the happy honk it makes when calling for its packmates. It has prevalence in spades. The Raptor is one of the main dinosaurs in literally every Jurassic Park film. And it has awesome scenes. Oh, it's got some awesome scenes. The Raptors, until Jurassic World and unlike the Rex, have largely been an antagonistic presence. They are the scariest dinosaur in Jurassic Park. They're intelligent, they're fast, they're able to sneak and hide much more than the larger Rex ever could. They're able to set traps, able to communicate, and they are perfect for providing the horror feeling that goes hand in hand with the majesty provided by the likes of Brachiosaurus. Imagine the scariest scenes in the franchise. The kitchen in the first film, the tall grass in the second, the abandoned lab in the third. It's always the Raptor. They're so clever that Muldoon feels the need to compliment one on its trap-setting ability before he gets torn to shreds along with his short shorts. They're so frightening that when Grant sees they've bred raptors, he's visibly shaken and worried, not a reaction he had to the mention of the Rex earlier in the film. It was a shame for me that in Jurassic World they were swapped into a more protagonistic role. They got a lot of awesome scenes, and who doesn't love blue, but I don't think it's what the raptors are best at. You want them skulking, stalking, hunting in the depths of night, or pretending to be still behind glass lab equipment for some daft reason. I think the people behind Jurassic Park have realised it was a bit of an error, because although Blue is returning for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, we are of course also getting the Indoraptor, a dinosaur with increased abilities and toothiness, like the Indominus Rex, but with the smaller form factor that makes the raptors so terrifying. Big dinosaurs just aren't as scary as little dinosaurs. I could really talk about the Jurassic Park raptors to the end of days. They may not be realistic to either Velociraptor or to the Deinonychus they were actually based on, but they appear time and time again in the franchise as either the scariest or just plain coolest dinosaur on the screen. They are for me the ultimate Jurassic Park dinosaur, and a film with low levels of Tyrannosaurus Rex, as with the last two, simply didn't feel as weird as a film with low levels of Velociraptor would. T-Rex may be the headliner on the logo, but for me, Velociraptor is the best dinosaur in Jurassic Park, and I hope the Indoraptor shows just why they're so badly needed when Fallen Kingdom comes out later this year. There we are then folks, the 20 are finished. I know people will disagree with some of this, particularly those last two, and that's okay. This isn't anything scientific or expertly calculated, just my own personal ranking, with hopefully enough justification to prevent any mob retaliation. Let me know in the comments down below what your personal lists would be, and please do hit that like button if you've enjoyed this little series, it really does help me out. We're going to be back with something fairly similar soon, and they'll likely be longer videos as opposed to these mini ones. If there's anything you'd like to see me talk about in a similar vein to this series, don't hesitate to let me know in the comment section down below. Cheers, much love, as always, bye-bye. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, please consider smashing that like button down below, it really helps me out, and also hitting the subscribe button if you want to be kept up to date with brand new videos about dinosaurs, animals, aliens, and everything else we do here on the BestInSlot channel. All of you who have subscribed so far, that's awesome. Make sure you hit that little bell icon, I'll highlight it now, otherwise you may actually miss out on the content anyway because YouTube is silly. Thank you guys so much, much love.